Hi, I'm Mark Kenyon, Senior Instructor here with the St. Louis Guru Garage. Today we want to talk about hub bearing replacement. All right, we have a 2007 Ford Focus, and we're going to talk about, once we get the knuckle off the vehicle, the orientation of the bearing, the snap ring location, and the wheel speed sensor. Okay? First thing we need to do though is we need to remove this hub assembly from the vehicle. In order to do that, we're going to have to remove the brakes, rotor, remove the knuckle from the strut, the lower ball joint, and the tie rod end. So let's go ahead and get started. Now we have our hub assembly removed from the vehicle, we can look at the orientation of this snap ring and the wheel speed sensor. Obviously, when we go to put this back together, we're going to want to get these in the correct orientation so the snap ring does not interfere with the wheel speed sensor. Also, the orientation of the hub bearing itself is critical. These hub assemblies have a small, thin, wafer-type magnet built into the seal. We're going to remove this seal right here and show you that inside of that is a magnet. That magnet's job is to work with the wheel speed sensor in order to create that digital signal that the processor, ABS processor, is going to use to create the wheel speeds on the vehicle. Obviously, if we got that in correctly, had it facing the hub side, the magnet can now not work in conjunction with the speed sensor, and obviously it will set us a wheel speed sensor code. All right, now the first part of this process is we need to remove the hub, the center hub, from the hub bearing itself. In order to do that, we need to find a driver that will fit inside of the hub where the axle goes through, but also be smaller than the outside diameter so it'll slide through the hub bearing itself without any kind of conflicts in there. So what we're going to do is get this set up on our press, bring the press over, line everything up. Pressure against it, and press the hub out. Now we have our hub assembly removed from the hub bearing. Next step in the process would be to remove the hub bearing itself. In order to do that, we're going to need to change the press and invert the bearing assembly. All right, now that we've got the hub removed, we've inverted the hub assembly, and now we're going to press the hub bearing out of the knuckle itself. At this point, all we're going to do is support it, put some pressure against it, it should pop loose. Now with the bearing removed, we need to check the housing board to make sure that it's clean, free of any kind of rust, material debris, anything that would inhibit or damage our bearing when we replace with the new bearing. Also, this happens to be the style of bearing where the magnet is built into the seals we talked about in one of our previous videos. Notice the paper clip sticks to it. That seal or that surface needs to face or point towards our wheel speed sensor. As you can see right here, the hole for the sensor. So the sensor is going to come in on this side as we showed earlier. So this bearing orientation needs to go in this direction right here. Also, we want to press on the outside of the hub bearing itself. We do not want to press on this inner seal, and we also do not want to slip and damage that thin wafer magnet that's inside of this seal here. So we have a driver that is just slightly smaller than the OD of this bearing. Slide our bearing down in, get it orientated, and then get everything centered up on our press. And we press the bearing in. Now, once the bearing is seated in the housing bore, with the pressure, at this point, next step would be to install the snap ring, and then we will install the hub assembly itself. Now we have our hub bearing in. Next step is the snap ring. We want to slip the snap ring down inside, make sure it fits into the snap ring groove properly and is in the correct orientation so that the wheel speed sensor can come through the hole and not contact the snap ring or get in a bind with it. Final step in the process is to press the hub back into the hub bearing. We need to support this inner race of the hub bearing so it does not get damaged as we press the hub in. In order to do that, we're going to put this driver in there to support that inner race. Turn our assembly upside down, set it in our press. Take the hub assembly itself, center it over the bearing, and then press the assembly into place. Now that we've pressed the hub into the hub bearing and fully seated it, we're ready to reinstall this back on the vehicle. The next step would be to reinstall our wheel speed sensor and then put it on the vehicle itself. I'm Mark Kenyon, Senior Instructor with the Garage Gurus. For more information, please see the links below or check out our YouTube channel.